All right, let's dive right into this explainer and tackle that almost mythical concept of finding your passion. I mean, we've all heard the saying, right? Find your passion and you'll never work a day in your life. But the source material we're looking at today takes a totally different, much more practical approach. Instead of treating passion like this magical, elusive thing, we're actually going to decode the neuroscience behind why we care about literally anything at all.
So to get started, I want you to just think about this for a second. Why on earth do we put ourselves through so much effort for such brief moments of reward? Think about someone who absolutely loves to cook. They'll spend an hour chopping, stirring, sweating over a hot stove, dealing with all these tedious steps, not to mention the massive mountain of dishes afterward, just to sit down and eat a meal in like 10 minutes. Or what about a painter? Someone who spends days or even weeks agonizing over a single canvas. Where's the actual pleasure happening here? Is it in the exhausting hours of mixing paint, or is it in that final, fleeting moment when the masterpiece is finally done? Well, the answer reveals exactly where the true pleasure of our daily tasks actually comes from, because all the actions we take are ultimately driven by the anticipation of the end result.
And what exactly fuels that anticipation? Well, it all comes down to one thing: dopamine. Think of it as the body's gasoline. It's the ultimate biological engine. Our source defines it as the hormone that provides the absolute drive and motivation to perform a specific action just to get that reward at the end, which, by the way, usually results in serotonin, the happiness hormone. Now, dopamine is so astonishingly powerful that if you are starving to death and a meal was placed right next to you, without dopamine firing in your brain to actually motivate you to reach out and take a bite, you would literally starve. It is the secret force behind every effort, every struggle, and every single bit of hard work you endure.
Okay, so that brings us to section 1, the trap of consumption. Because while dopamine is totally essential for survival, there's a darker side to it. The source reveals this rather terrifying truth about how our brains actually adapt. You see, when your body notices you getting used to a certain pattern, like always seeking dopamine from the exact same easy source, it eventually just stops producing it for that activity. It's kind of like, think about a favorite meal you order from a restaurant. At first, it's amazing, right? But if you ate it every single day, you'd get bored. The same thing happens with video games. You might play a game like Fortnite obsessively, getting these huge dopamine hits, but after a while, you just lose that drive. It doesn't interest you anymore, and you end up deleting the game. Your body builds a tolerance, and you're left craving a stronger, more intense hit just to feel normal.
Think of it this way. Imagine someone who is totally addicted to fast food. Their meals are loaded with spices, deep-fried oils, cheese, heavy sauces, the whole shebang. Now, if you sit that person down in front of a healthy meal, say plain white rice and grilled chicken with a side salad, they're going to find it completely unappetizing. And why is that? Because their dopamine receptors are so used to the massive, overwhelming spikes from the junk food that normal, healthy food doesn't even register on their radar. And guys, the exact same thing happens with our daily lives. A brain addicted to cheap, instant dopamine from endless entertainment is going to find normal, everyday life incredibly boring. So, to fix this, we have to cut out the massive spikes and force the body to find its dopamine somewhere else.
Which leads us right into section 2, production, the true passion.
So the crucial point here is that we have to shift our paradigm from how we blindly receive dopamine to how we actively harvest it. There are basically 2 ways you can get your dopamine fix. The first one, and yeah, by far the most common, is through consumption. This is watching a series, gaming, going out shopping, or just mindlessly scrolling through social media. You are just passively taking things in. But the second method is production. This is creating, building, learning, being active. It's the architect designing a building, a content creator making a video, an athlete training, or a student actively learning a new language. Now, both of these pathways release dopamine, but they lead to vastly, vastly different life outcomes.
And this right here is an absolute revelation. It's really the emotional climax of our whole explainer. According to the source, excessive dopamine through consumption is addiction, but excessive dopamine through production is passion. When you overconsume to get your hit, you're basically an addict. But when you overproduce to get that hit, you are passionate. Because remember, dopamine always runs out, forcing you to seek more. If you consume, you just have to consume more and more and more just to feel okay. But if you produce, you are driven to create more, to build more, to achieve more. That relentless drive to create, that is exactly what passion is.
I mean, just look at some of history's greatest minds. Albert Einstein spent years in his room with literally nothing but paper and a pen,
completely fueled by the dopamine of solving physics problems, producing work that still predicts our reality a whole century later. Or Thomas Edison, failing 1,000 times, but that dopamine drive to invent just kept him going. Nikola Tesla, Elon Musk. It turns out these historical geniuses were essentially fueled by this endless loop of production dopamine. They produce, their dopamine drops, so they produce more, which ultimately changes the world. Passion was simply the tool that got them there.
The creator of our source material actually shares an incredibly touching personal anecdote about this exact realization. He said he was addicted to consuming YouTube videos for a solid decade, but when he finally took the time to learn how to edit and produce his very first video, he had this profound realization. He actually sat his mother down and told her to imagine a massive, luxurious, classic marble hallway lined with windows letting in this beautiful light, and at the very end of this long corridor is a giant, magnificent door, and behind that door is every dream and aspiration he ever had. He looked at his mom and said, "After 27 years, I finally found the hallway." Simply by shifting from consuming content to actually producing it, he took his very first step toward that door.
Finding that hallway of dreams sounds amazing, right? But how do we actually do it? Let's get into section 3. 3 steps to regain passion.
The source outlines 3 very specific, highly effective steps to rewire your brain, starve it of those cheap thrills, and force it to find fulfillment in meaningful creation. Step 1, cut consumption. Step 2, try new things. And step 3, give it time. Let's break these down real quick.
Step 1 is to literally starve the distraction. You absolutely have to reduce or entirely cut off your sources of consumption dopamine. If you do this, your body, which desperately needs dopamine just to function, will be forced to seek it out naturally through productive ways. You're basically backing your brain into a corner, where the only way out is to do something useful.
And the source offers some incredibly tactical advice here. Lock yourself in a room, close the door, and turn off your phone for 3 solid hours. No distractions whatsoever. For the first half hour, you might just stare at a wall or literally fall asleep out of sheer boredom, but eventually your brain is going to crave stimulation so badly that you'll start searching for literally anything to do. You'll grab a book you abandoned months ago, you'll start cleaning your room and organizing drawers, or you'll finally finish that assignment you've been putting off. By simply removing the cheap dopamine, you naturally trigger your own drive to produce.
Okay, so once you've cleared the noise, step 2 is to actively try new things, and I mean really experiment. Grab some paints and try drawing, pick up a guitar, go play some tennis or basketball, maybe take apart a toaster to see how the mechanics work, try some coding, or even sewing and design. Just pick 3 things you think you kinda might like, turn off the screens, and dive headfirst into producing.
And finally, step 3, the farm theory. Look, change does not happen overnight. You can't plant a seed on Monday and expect to harvest fruit on Tuesday, right? You have to give your new productive hobbies some actual time. Dedicate consistent hours to them over the course of 4 to 5 months. Even if it takes you years of trying different things to find your ultimate passion, the journey itself is incredibly rewarding. You're going to meet new people, experience new environments, and eventually your brain will latch onto that one productive activity that makes you say, yes, this is it. This is what I've been looking for. So, here is the ultimate test, and really my final question to you. Are you willing to break the cycle of addiction right this very second? Your life, your goals, and your dreams are all waiting on the other side of that door at the end of the hallway, but you can't reach it while you're just endlessly consuming. Will you close this explainer right now, lock your phone away for 3 hours, and take your very first step toward producing your own passion? The choice is entirely yours. Get out there and start building.